And ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Man, welcome everybody to our Success Mastermind for Monday, September 7th, 2020. John Lavenia here with you and with a bunch of you. Actually, not a whole bunch. My goodness, everybody's sleeping in today. It must be because it's Labor Day here in the United States. What an auspicious and terribly important holiday. I can't wait for Labor Day. Every year, I always think Labor Day. Oh, here it comes. I'm so damn excited. No, I'm not.
John, it's a labor of love, John. Labor of love.
There you go. Evelyn, good to see you. There's Toy and Ego. Of course, Susie's here. Rose is here so we could start the party. Rose, you and I need to talk. We got work to do. We got stuff going on here. Hi, Coral, Glenn, Mark, Ivier, looking aesthetic as always. She's always got an interesting hat. I'm always interested in what hat she's gonna wear. Corla, hey, Wayne, and of course Edward. Did you guys check out Wayne last night with the river? Interesting stuff. I just posted the recording of that. Of course, Nico is here. Nico is going to be doing our meditation, our group meditation tomorrow, just before our general session. Louisa, Janet, Jane. I don't see Jane, but I do see Neil. Jane's probably wrestling with a dog or something. Hey, Stuart and Leah. Hello to Leah. I'm sure she's in the background somewhere. Mandy, Susanna, Eddie, Gail, Carlene, and let's go ahead and get this show on the road. I'm John, by the way, in case you're new here. And if you're viewing this on our YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're seeing this as a non-member, you can correct that problem by clicking the link in the description and becoming a full-blown member here with the JL Success Mastermind, where this general session is just the tip of the iceberg because we have such talent. Let me tell you about the talent we have here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's Labor Day or not, the show must go on. In fact, that's something Jamie asked me. Some of you know Jamie Young, who hosted a breakthrough session. There was tears. There was all kinds of stuff going on when Jamie hosted last week. Really heavy duty stuff. To Go or Not to Go was the title. You can catch the recording. But he was saying, are we going to be going live on Labor Day? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Right? I got nothing better to do. I mean, I got other things I could do, but really, truly, there's nothing better that I could do than have a mastermind session with some of my favorite people. But tonight or this evening or this afternoon, however you're looking at it, 7:30 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, we have an e-commerce work group with our friend Stuart Wild. So that's going to be fun. And then we're going to wrap up the day today at 9 p.m. Eastern, middle of the friggin' night for my friends in England, with chapter 1, Think and Grow Rich, on our book study. So get excited for that. We're going to hear all about Edison and Barnes, and hopefully you've been reading. Have you been reading this? If you need a copy of the book, go get one now. We're on the original text. And just so you know, whenever I introduce a book, I introduce the original text. We're going to talk about our opinions about it. I don't want the editor's opinion. I want the author, what they said exactly, and then we can kibitz about that and do whatever we want. So that being said, happy birthday to Nancy. Nancy, our resident yoga instructor, who is going to be live with us on Thursday doing yoga, which is really fun, by the way. My whole body is wrenched from moving. So I'm not into like the yoga thing right now. I'm into just resting for a moment and taking some ibuprofen. But I was hanging, speaking of Labor Day, I was hanging racks. You guys know those racks that you put up on the ceiling in the garage? They hover over like the garage door or garage if you're in the UK, right? So you've got the racks and you put all your crap up there, right? That you don't need to access very often. You just get a ladder, you go up there, and it's these big metal racks. So I hung 2 of them yesterday, and I got 1 more to hang, and then the whole damn ceiling, well, not the whole thing, but a lot of the ceiling will be covered with racks, and then we can have a nice clean garage floor. And that's what I want to talk with you about today. No, not garage floors, but about creating order in your space. Just before we went live, I heard a couple people talking about the idea of multitasking and doing this and doing that. Like right now, I've got obviously our mastermind session here. And then I've got a meeting with some friends in England about a completely different thing. Okay. And then I've got clients here in the US and Canada I'm going to be meeting with about a completely different thing, financial services, right? Not to mention I got my daughter right over there in the next room. She stayed up late because it's not a school day, because it's Labor Day. And so she's going to get up whenever she gets up, probably in an hour. That's what she does. And we're working on that. I got to make sure that she gets her room put away, right? Because it's like a disaster of stuff all over the place. But here in this space right now, in present time, like the old book from Ram Dass, be here now. Okay. So be here, okay. A seat, desk, right? All right. I got the location. It's here. Okay. Now, so not looking at this. Okay. Just being in present time here now. So in fact, I heard someone say, if you ever asked if the animals could talk and humans could get in communication with the animals of the forest, right? And you would ask them, well, where are we? And the animal, the deer or whatever, would say, here. Well, what time is it? Now. In other words, they got a way of keeping it simple. Now, they also don't have, reason and, other higher mental faculties. But if we can get back to that to a degree, or just, I would say, simplify that. And I think it starts with having, and this is the case for me. You guys know I've been putting my office together. In fact, I don't know if you can see, I got a guitar amp over there. I'm thinking of maybe do the guitars there. Maybe I'll serenade you guys a little bit. I don't know. We'll see what I'm going to do with this. But this space that I'm in right now allows me to be efficient with each passing moment of now. In other words, I know exactly, here's my microphone, that's ready to rock. Here's the, the screens, the lights, everything that I need to do the work that I do, which is for the most part, video marketing and lectures and meetings and things that pretty much live on the internet around here, right? Do you have a space where you have no distractions, never mind the pile of crap on the floor in the other room that I'm going to have to help my daughter with, all right? That's been going on for days. Never mind all that. But can we simplify and reduce a space to the things that are going to be necessary for us to get our product? What is our product? Well, whatever the result is, that's your product, right? So let's say you're running an Amazon business. Your product would be actually having products sourced and listed on Amazon, right? Let's say that you're in network marketing. Okay, so your product would be having contacts and people that you've presented to and whatever opportunity, right? So you've got completed cycles. Okay, so when we think about any successful action or product, anytime we actually create the product or get the result, there is a very predictable cycle that occurs, and that is that we start something. All right, so here is the impetus that initiated action. All right, so there's a beginning of an action. This product does not yet exist. Whatever the result is, does not yet exist. So we're going to start that cycle. And then in the space in which we work, with the stuff with which we work, we're going to change things. We're going to make stuff happen. We're going to have an effect. We're going to cause things to occur. Okay, and this is applicable to anything in life. Okay, just check it out. So we started something. There's all this action happening, this changing, this doing this. Okay, and then we're going to stop. The end. Product created. Result achieved. Done. D-O-N-E. My favorite four-letter word. Every successful thing we've experienced in our lives, I can't find any evidence to the contrary. Okay, but anything that I would consider a success, look, here's the product, here's the result, here's the success, has been a complete cycle where I began, I did the work, and then I stopped. It's done. And when something's done, you stop. Now, here's the beautiful thing about all this, because if we're talking about being here now, the anything that I can get done, anything I can check off or tick, however you like to say it in your version of English, anything I could say is a done creates what? Creates more nows, creates more time. Now I can go put my attention, not multitasking, not, oh, let me do this, halfway done, not done. Now let me go do that halfway. No. That's why it drove me crazy. For those of you who are tuned in last week, when I had like a wreck, right? And my books, where's my books? Where's my stuff? Where's my microphone? And I'm sitting on a couch downstairs and we're looking at half of a plant that's not even in a pot. They're all fake plants, by the way. Except my wife did buy a real plant and she left it in the car. It's 130 degrees inside, 140 maybe inside of a car in Phoenix. She left it in the car. It's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. Okay. By the way, you never leave animals or children in cars in Arizona. Never, 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 never. You actually get arrested for that. What was I talking about? Yes, completing this whole experience makes room for the next experience. Okay. And there's something that I'm going to share with you, which I think is going to be a good reminder. This is something I learned from a guy when I was newer in the whole sales world. And I find it applicable to many areas of my life where I find unnecessary complication. And it had to do with, let's say you're in sales and you're talking with someone, a customer, right? And there's all this data, there's all this complication, all this stuff that you could present, right? So let's say right now I was talking with Toyin and I had a widget, right? And there's a whole list of features, and then of course there's all the benefits. But Toyin's interested in a couple of specific things about this product, this widget, whatever it is. Those are the things that are important to her. Talk about those things with Toyin. Don't talk about the whole damn list of stuff. Like you're vomiting at the mouth and talking, throwing more and more data, as if Toyin needs more data to make a decision. She's already sold. So the saying that I got from my friend was, if it's not necessary to say, it's necessary not to say. If it's not necessary to say, it's necessary not to say. In other words, keep it simple. Here's the message. Here's the prime datum, right? Here's the item that we actually need to focus on. All this other stuff, yes, it exists. Yes, it may be important to support the prime item here, but it's over there. Or maybe it's important to that guy, but not important to this lady right here. Okay. So does that mean that the person is going to have to get, again, we're talking about communication. I'll relate this back to being here now in a second. But does that mean that the person needs all the data that exists on this product, this widget, this whatever it is? Do they need all the data to make a buying decision? No. Frankly, they're not that interested. They just want the thing, right? So like back in the car business, we could tell people all about the specifications of the engine and the braking system and blah, 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 blah. Let's say we were talking about, I don't know, what's a hot car you guys like? Ford Mustang, Chevy Camaro, Corvette, Dodge Challenger, if you ask me. Okay. That's all great stuff. Okay. And I guess we can boast about horsepower. I got more horsepower than your horsepower. Fine. Bottom line is I want to go fast and look cool. Does this product make me go fast and look cool? Okay. I don't care about the damn spec sheet. If it's not necessary to say, it's necessary not to say. How does that relate to being here now? If it's not necessary to be in your space, it's necessary that it is not in your space. If it's not necessary, in other words, if it's not important and urgent to the mission at hand, it deserves to be delegated, abandoned, deferred, something, but not here, not now. And we can get to, especially if we're doing subjective work, right? Let's say, for example, the Amazon stuff, right? If we're doing subjective work with a lot of thinking, a lot of decisions, a lot of maybe this, maybe that, right? Lots of variables. If we're doing that, then we've got to find a way to simplify so that we can get stuff done. We've got to find a way to reject, right? Or to shield ourselves from things that would take us off course to getting those dones. Even if they're just little dones, they all add up and that creates more time. So simplicity, for simplicity's sake, pick a space, right? Orient yourself in that space. Here's my computer, here's my stuff. All the stuff that I don't need to get this job done are not in this space, not in this space. If it's not necessary to be in this space, it's necessary that it's not in this space. Fine. So now I know where I am. And right now, meaning right now, I'm going to get this cycle done. This thing that I started, that I'm working on right now, I'm going to take that to a done and I'm going to feel good about it. And it's going to create what? Time for me to tackle other things and maybe bring other things into my space, right? I've got a toolbox down in the garage and it's got all these tools in it. Okay. I don't take all the tools out to do, like I was hanging those racks on the ceiling, right? I had a drill, I had a impact driver, tape measure, stud finder. Okay, great. Pencil, ladder. I didn't have the entire, socket set, every wrench. You get the point, 10 million screwdrivers, right? No. Now, specifically, what is the goal? What is the product that we've got in our mind? And specifically, we use the stuff and we travel as light as we can to get that done as efficiently as possible. And then we move on to the next thing. And here's the rest of that. Completing that whole cycle equals putting the tools away, which is something else I've got to teach my daughter, right? She just spreads and spreads and spreads. I'm like, hey, you took out the blanket, put the blanket away, right? Why am I tripping over your shoes? Any of you with children, actually, maybe yourself, I don't know. But yeah, that's something to do, is to keep your space orderly. So this may sound too mundane and simple. Like, John, you're telling us to clean our room. Yeah, I am. What's the alternative? You get to be overwhelmed and get less done. You know, most people spend half of their time just looking for stuff. I'm not joking. Where's my, we got a rule in my house. There is no question that starts with where is my. That question cannot happen in our house because the answer is always wherever you left it. All right. So keep track of your stuff. But just think about the amount of time people piss away just looking for stuff. My goodness. So being here now, I know my tools. Here it is. Here's my stuff. I'm going to work now. And then when the cycle is complete, it's done. And I'm going to go on to the next cycle, of which I've got 3 major ones just this morning before like 11 a.m. So there's my idea for you today. And this is, I guess, auspicious when it comes to Labor Day, right? Because if you're going to be doing some sort of labor, I think Glenn and I were just joking about that before. It's like every day is kind of like Labor Day. What do we do here on Labor Day? We barbecue, and I guess most people drink beer. Well, most people do that every day anyway, so at least the barbecue part, at least if you're where Glenn is in Houston, where they have barbecue every day. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the mics. Listen, tonight, if you're awake for it, right? I know we got a lot of people across the pond as well, but especially our Aussies who may be seeing this on recording because you're asleep right now. Tune into the book study. Make it a point. Okay, so we're gonna hit this hard. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. This is huge. Okay, and then of course e-commerce with Stuart an hour and a half before that, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So the floor is open. We do have a bit of a light crowd today, so maybe everybody gets to talk. Hey, who wants to talk first? Let's raise some hands and let's get this show on the road. Toyin, you're unmuted. Toyin, did you want to talk?
Not straight away.
Okay. I know I singled you out before just because I was looking at your beautiful face and your bookshelf, which I coveted. I coveted your bookshelf, and now I've outdone you.
Yeah, but you've beaten me hands down now, John. Don't
Let's go to Koila over there in the UK. Hey, Koila.
Hiya. Just nobody was putting their hand up, so I thought I would. Just before this meeting, I had a radio interview, so I arrived here kind of a bit hyped up from that, and I'm glad that's done and over, and hopefully it was okay. And yeah, I really need to work on my space, and I'm just rushing around that much that it's kind of difficult. So I just need to work on a little bit at a time. And I've promised myself to buy an office chair. I don't have one at the minute, so that's I'm sitting on a kitchen chair with a cushion and trying not to wreck my back.
If you were local, I would drive one to your house right now. But you're on an island off of Scotland, somewhere in the middle of the North Sea or something. You're like in the
some remote weird place.
Right.
That's me.
Yeah.
So I have my computer here, and I'm surrounded by all the things I'm having to work on my kitchen table. And I have an office space, but it's got a bookcase in it that's in the wrong place because I had to move everything when I was looking after folk. Everything got shoved in one room, so that needs sorting. So this is just very relevant. And one day, in the not too distant, I actually will have some time to do something about it, I hope, because it does feel so much better when you've got a clear space to work in. It really does.
Thank you, Corla. Well, it's whatever you're doing, it has been working out. And I know that you're just getting more and more efficient. Plus, you've got this big I don't know if the campaign is on or what you're, I mean, that's huge. I've never done that before. So sounds like a
That's
big
what
deal.
that's what the radio interview was about. So it
Yeah.
started in earnest now, and yeah, I'm having to write articles and press releases and do radio interviews and yeah, and.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've done this before because I stood as an MP with absolutely no chance of winning, so I did know what it was going to be like. But it just takes up when you're trying to work as well. There just is no like gap left anywhere, and I've just ordered my product, so I'm still working on that. And yeah, there's just an awful lot going on at the moment.
Sure. Okay.
But
Well, we're
we'll get
glad
there.
you're here. Glad you're here to recharge your batteries.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good times. Good times. Well, let's go to Bill over there in the UK as well. Hey, Bill.
Welcome, welcome to sunny Ireland again. It's been raining all day. Coyle, I was doing well this morning. I had a list made out of what I had to do, and I just looked at it. There was 9 things, which were quite in depth, but I think you would probably have 99 things on your list, given the process at the minute. Being here, being now, sorting things out. I had visions there, John, of you having a shadow board in your garage. Have you got one yet? Where all the tools are meant to go? You've got to get one. It's more pertinent to me to get the inside of my head in order, as opposed to the jobs and tasks I have. Today, I wrote down my 9 things. I did 4 of them. And when I finished the 4th one, I went for a walk in the rain by the sea with the dog. He wasn't very impressed, but hey ho, she has to get used to it. But when I came back, everything had been sorted inside here, because I just sat here and just went, right, now, what's next? And it gives you that whole peaceful feeling, because you know you've sorted all the silly wee issues that were inside your head to fix all the stuff that you had to do. So it really is time management is really important. There's no 2 ways about it. And being able to say, no, I'm not doing that today because it doesn't need done. And it's the same as what you're saying about not saying something as well sometimes. If it doesn't need said, don't say it. I think Evelyn had posted a thing like that in your the Facebook blog. So yeah, just prioritize, get things that are important done first. Doesn't stop you not working for 18 hours if you so decide, but as long as you've got your head in the right place, you can work as many hours as you need to. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. So you're talking about like compartmentalization, right? So here's that, and here's that, and they're separate. Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Nicola, then Mark, then Ego. Hey, Nicola.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Yeah, mine's hi, Mark. Mine's less about the environment I'm in. I tend to move around quite a bit. So I've got kind of issues with my hips. I can't sit in the same place for too long. So I think the importance for me is the kind of workflow. So what I spend time on is, I'm sure we've all got our kind of long-term goals. So this might sound quite anal. I am quite logical. So I then every quarter, I'll sit down and set more detailed quarterly goals. And I'll have a kind of 12-week almost project plan on all the steps I need to do to achieve those quarterly goals. And then every week on a Sunday or a Monday, I'll look at that 12-week plan, pull down the tasks that I need to do for the following week. And all of those tasks will then get slotted into the calendar somewhere. So I know I've got the dedicated slots in that week to do the tasks that I need to then achieve the 3-month goals and the long-term goals. So I might sound a lot, but it stops me from being like really frantic. And it means I don't wake up some days wondering what the hell am I meant to be doing today. So I've got like a clear view when I start the week of exactly what I need to do, regardless of the environment I'm in. So it means I can kind of work from anywhere. I know exactly what I'm doing. So I thought I would share how my brain tends to work, but it stops me from being kind of frantic and just not prioritizing my time. So that system works well for me.
Something you said, Nicola, just hit me like a ton of bricks, is wondering what to do. Indecision, right? So you're avoiding the state, the absolutely awful state of indecision. You already know what to do. You wrote it down. You already planned it. Man, that is huge. So we talked about a lot of people spend half their time just looking for stuff. A lot of us also spend a ton of time just wondering what to do. Oh my goodness. You know how much time we would recapture if we just know where our stuff is and what we need to do? Oh man, that's it. I think we just solved the riddle of the universe. That's it. Done.
It's prioritizing for me, because when you've just got this massive list of things to do, you don't always know which ones are the right ones to prioritize and spend the most time on. So I tend to try and do that 12 weeks in advance. So I've got that kind of 3-month plan. So it's already in priority order. So I'm just kind of pulling those down every week.
Right.
Always work that seamlessly, mind, but that's the theory.
Awesome. Well, thank you. You're an inspiration, Nicola. Thank you so much. Let's go to Mark, then Ego, and then Stuart. Hey, Mark.
Hi, John. What a great topic this morning. And it's really appropriate for me. We were talking about priorities, and I think I've mentioned this saying a couple of times, shooting the alligator closest to the boat, just kind of managing what comes at you first and just kind of working through those issues that are most prevalent or most pressing. But and those things can change. They can change on a dime. And I'm living a perfect example of it right now. My 2 of my 3 sons, were on their way up from LA. They kind of closed down shop down there for a while. They're down in the North Hollywood area. They do video and movies and all this other kind of stuff and production. But the way things are going down in LA, they said, oh, we're going to take a break. And since we're from the Tacoma, Washington area where I grew up, they're heading back up there, for a few months while things kind of settle down. And they're here. They got in here very late last night. So did my priorities change? Yeah, they changed on a dime, because I haven't seen them, for a few months. And when they come into town and they call that same day, say, where you can come, you got a, pillow to put your head on. And so they're here, and I get to see my 8-year-old granddaughter for a few minutes. And yeah, does this all take second seat? Actually, I'm on the call, aren't I? So it doesn't take second seat necessarily. I need this. So here's a priority in my life. So what we're doing effectively is kind of, leveling what is a priority and where we stick those priorities. Well, it's sort of I guess it's a cheat in a way, because they're still sleeping, because we were up till like 1:30 or 2 in the morning. But I got it because I wanted to be here, because this is such an important conduit for me in the morning that kind of helps me set the mind. And not like you, Bill, I am, I have to have this sort of mindset to be able to establish where my priorities and the rest of my day goes. I mean, I really look on this. Call me an addict. I'm an addict. I love being on these calls, and I just want to be here. This is where it helps me establish the kind of the direction and those priorities for the day. Now, when I get done here and we start eating breakfast and they're doing their thing, I'll be back in that, but then I'll be back into this stuff again, but I've just adjusted the priority just a little bit, and you do it on the fly. And that's just the way, life kind of comes at us that way. And I don't have any problem with it if that's what I have to do. So thanks, John.
Thank you, Mark. And let me ask you this, because you've become accustomed to getting together with us in the morning, which is the evening or the middle of the night. I mean, obviously you can't have all time zones at the ideal time. Is that something that you could have just as well? Well, I guess maybe there's a rhetorical question, because we got a lot of people in very different time zones who come here every day, right? But is that something that you've adjusted your day around the morning slot? Is that?
Oh, absolutely. This is, John, tell me a meeting I've missed on the general sessions. Yeah, no, can't. Not since March 16th.
Everywhere you go.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. I'm so committed to this. I just have to be here. And I can't speak to the later parts of the day. I don't know if those things have been there, but this really is that movement from the Miracle Morning aspects that I do. And it just kind of helps stage the rest of the day and the other priorities. Mm-hmm. And I'll make adjustments as I need to, but this is, if we just want to say it, this is the priority.
Got it.
Because I'm proving it every day when I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you for your perspective, Mark. In fact, you and I need to get together. I am remiss, so let me publicly apologize. You and I need to get together, Mark. We got some stuff to discuss.
All
So
right.
if you're going to be around at all today, let me know. I know you got your granddaughter in town.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Ego, then Stuart, then Therese. Hey, Ego.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Firstly, Nicola, as you know, we kind of chatted at the weekend. We're very similar in our planning process. So I have my 45, 60, 90-day plan, do my to-do list, and, you know, update my calendar, and then just kind of have slots in and I prioritize. So we're kind of similar in that regard. With regards to space, something that, you know, I've been thinking about is, you know, you mentioned on Friday, you know, one of the keys to success, consistency, intensity, and diversity. I would say I've been okay with the first two. And then, you know, for some of the third, diversity, so kind of mixing things up. But it was actually put to test the last 2 weeks, because I'm not in our home, our main home. I'm in the apartment where my husband works. He's out of the country, so I'm out of the country. So at home, I have my own space. It's organized. Nobody comes up there to the mezzanine. So I'm kind of used to that. But then, you know, disruption does happen in our lives, right? Where you then have to adjust very quickly. So I then decide if he's in the living room watching TV, I'm not at the dining table because I get the noise from the TV. Then I shift to the bedroom. And then if I know, okay, it's a very late call, he's gonna need to go to bed, then I go to the spare room. So I'm constantly adjusting. But every time, you know, when you talk about like the tools you need for that moment, I just make sure I have my bottle of water, my laptop, my notebook, my pen to hand. So as he's moving around, I have to move around him and move as well. So I think the mindset actually helps deal with disruption, right? So I have to, you know that his hat is here and it's not my workspace, so I'll push it to one side and, you know, but yeah, being able to be flexible and adaptable and, you know, yeah, kind of flexible really, even though the space is not my usual space, but I have to be able to, you know, I have to be able to kind of work in a disruptive environment. And then another thing that I do, because I'm not really a huge fan of TV. So when I'm working, I actually put concentration music on. So that means when I have that on, that means don't ask me a question, don't come around the space that I'm in. Whereas at home, it was a physical space. So the way that I create the boundary is I have that concentration music on, and then you know not to walk behind me or distract me or ask me a question. Might be a bit harsh, but.
No, it's beautiful. No, that is great. You know, Ego, the one thing that drives me crazy, well, there's a few things, but there's one thing that's coming to mind. You mentioned music, and I'm also very musically oriented. But if there's two different songs playing at the same time, like my daughter's got her phone and we're riding in the car, and then there's my wife's got the radio on, it's like the brain, I can't deal with that, right? So that's like the discordance or whatever. And I listen to metal, right? So I mean, it's extreme, but it's like one thing that we're listening to. So have you ever heard of, this is going back 30 something years maybe, there was a speed reading course called Reading Genius by Ed Stracher. You ever heard of that? No?
No.
One of the things that he taught, I took the course, because I there was a lot of books that I wanted to read, right? And it was taking me a long time. But one of the things that he taught was to have reading music. So like what Ego was just talking about with her working music, which may be classical or whatever, right? Whatever you like. But he would have like this music during the course, and now is 5 minutes and you're going to read a certain number of pages or whatever it is. And so you kind of conditioned yourself that when that music is playing, you're reading. And anyway, we could talk more about that kind of stuff. But interestingly, as a side note to that, you're not sounding out the words because the brain can do it a whole lot faster than you can say the words. You're not sounding out the words. You're going through line by line by line, boom, 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 boom. It's pretty interesting. As long as you're not going past words you don't understand, you're all good. So thank you, Ego, for the reminder about music. Speaking of music, we've got one of our favorite llama touring rock stars, Mr. Stuart Wild. How are you, Stuart?
Hey, John. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Let me put my hand down here. Awesome topic today. I love that on Labor Day, when everybody's taking a holiday, we're talking about getting busy and getting to work. I like that. And I remember you said that work was maybe your second favorite four-letter word next to done. I like the idea of our environment affecting our inner space, right? Outer space affecting inner space. A lot of the times when we talk in esoteric terms, it's always as within, so without, right? But the opposite holds true too, is that we are affected by our surroundings, right? So on a personal level, I try to sanctify my workspace, if that's something that anybody can relate to. There's sort of a sacred space in my office, and I put mental hooks, if you guys know the term, into my workspace. And so I'll, at night, or in the morning or whenever, anytime I imagine myself sitting at my desk, right, I sort of embody that feeling, that experience of being productive, right? My workspace is not only my business temple, if you would, but I imbue the spirit of productivity and abundance and wealth creation. And that's when I sit at my desk, for the most part, that's what I'm there to do. So I think that's something that I do that I think is important to me. And then what else was I going to say? We think about our workspace as our office, our desk space, but those of you that have been on some of the earlier e-commerce calls, we've talked a lot about organizing the desktop on your computer, right? And I know that some of you guys, when you look at your computer, it's a little intimidating because there's a zillion things that you've downloaded, and it's confusing. And to me, having a clear desktop, whether it's your physical workspace or your virtual workspace, really does wonders to help my mindset and my productivity. So there you go.
There you go. It works. Thank you, Stuart. And I am so looking forward to getting with you in Taos in the very near future. By the way, tomorrow, Adventures in Mindset with Stuart Wild is going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Okay, so just so you know, we're going a lot earlier than usual on that show tomorrow. Let's see here. We got Therese, and then we got Ivier, and I think Toyan's unmuted again, although her hand doesn't work for some reason. Hey, Therese, what's going on?
Hi, how is everyone?
Good.
Interesting topic. Of course, I'm sure many of us are moving or in the process of moving and unpacking boxes and trying to get organized. My space is still not completely organized, but I think my priority was to get a desk, I like everything organized. But as I was unpacking and putting my books on the shelf and trying to make things fit in this space, I came across all of my art stuff, which I haven't done anything creative, for quite some time, right? Everything's been in boxes. And so I took time out of, I prioritized my creativity the last couple of days because it is a part of being productive. And so for me, when there's something creative that has to come out, it has to come out, and then I can readjust my sails and get back to my focus. But I thought it was really interesting as I pulled everything out. It's a huge mess. I've got paint all over me and I wasn't paying attention. I got on the call late. But I was the most productive at my work. I've got deposit down on second product. I've got third product source prices in and getting ready to put my deposit down on the third product. And all of a sudden, I freed up my mind, but I shifted it to creativity. And then at the same time, I was over here answering emails, being creative, emails, all of a sudden for me, everything got clear and I focused. So I think everyone's mind works a little bit differently, but anyway, that's kind of what happened for me. And I thought it was interesting. So I think a good lesson for me, always have a creative project going while I'm working. And I think that allows me to have better focus. And the only other thing is, for me, my space has to have something living, right? So the flowers or a plant or something. And I just get a mental and a visual break from the intensity of this dimension, this kind of one dimension screen, and reconnect with something that's tangible. So yeah, thanks.
Nice. Thank you, Therese. And we'd love to see some of your art at some point.
One day, this is kind of what I'm working on right now. Kind of hard to see.
My goodness.
It's the backside of a flower, actually, with the kind of base, and yeah.
Backside of a flower. That's a flower's backside right there.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. It's not obviously.
Show that stuff in public. You could show a backside. Yeah.
Backside of a Rudbeckia daisy. The backside of a flower. We could go all around with that, I'm sure. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much, Therese.
Thanks.
Yeah. Let's go to Ivier and then Toya. And hey, Ivier.
Hello, John. Hi, everyone. Well, I now organize my day in 3 distinct chunks, and I try to take a break before I move from one to the other. So the early part of my day, so morning here into early afternoon, I focus on work. That's my full-time job. And I try and put all my meetings and stuff, in the morning, so that I get all of those out of the way. And then I leave my admin bits till, afterwards. But in between the meetings and sitting down and getting the admin done, I go for a run. And that clears my head. I go for about an hour. So instead of taking a normal lunch break, I just go for a run for an hour, and I come back, and then I sit and blast out all the admin bits and chase emails or whatever else I need to do. And then after that, I schedule, if I've got meetings that I've got to organize for the next day, or feedback documents or whatever, I look through all of that, and then my next break is this call. So this is my next timeout, so to speak. So I make all my timeout for things that if I don't put them in the diary and commit to them and make them intentional, I can talk myself out of not doing them. So my run is a critical point in my day. These calls, the general sessions, another critical point. And now after this call, I'm going into what I call my second job, or my next chunk of work, where I'm going to be hard at that till about 9 tonight, just pretty much from call to call, like meeting after meeting, solidly till 9. And then the next break will be probably get a bite to eat. It's going to be something really quick, which is why I was eating a pear when we started this call, because I realized I hadn't eaten much today. And then I do my to-do list for the next day before I come on the later calls. So whether it's the networking or the book club, I try and sort out my next day. So I make my list of, what it is I'm doing the next day. So those are kind of like the 3 chunks, and in between I take breaks, but the breaks are also intentional breaks. And so if I'm not running and if I'm not on these calls, then I'm reading a book, and it's either one of the 5 that have been prescribed, or, watching a podcast, maybe a Bob Proctor podcast or something. It's another intentional thing that so every space and every time in my day is productive. That there's no, I'm going to sit now and watch, movie on Netflix. That's not going to be producing what I want it to produce. It's just going to be downtime where I can't tangibly say what that time has done for me. If I feel I need that, I'd rather listen to music, and the music will be probably relaxing music that, at least while it's playing, I can think through things and come out with a clearer action plan as to how I'm going to tackle the next project or whatever. Or I'm reading a book, so half the time, there's no music playing, there's nothing playing in the background. It's just, I've got my head's, in something, either reading a book or listen to a recording. And then I do the late night calls. And then after that, I go to sleep. So that's kind of like how I structure my days now. But I try to make, every moment as productive as possible, because I just find if it's not doing what I want it to do, it's time wasted. And I just can't afford to waste any time. I'm just on a turbocharged, I don't know, schedule at the moment. So yeah, and I know Adrian wonders for how long I'm going to be able to do this, but you know what, for as long as I've got the energy and the chutzpah and the whatever, I'm just going to keep doing this. And yeah, hopefully if I can set things up in this zone and in this season, then they'll sort themselves out and just, yeah, keep ticking over down the line. So yeah, so that's what I do. So I have a lot of done ticks, you know, in the different segments of my day. I don't move to the next thing until everything I've laid out, you know, as a objective is ticked. I just, you know, I won't, in my head, I won't get past it. So yeah, I do sleep, but yeah, work it as well.
Thank you, Evier.
Thanks, John.
Thank you for the reminder about intentionally setting breaks, because I'll find that I go and go and go and I don't eat, and you know, and then I get less and less efficient, you know, the more I do that. You know, I find food and sleep to be inconveniences, but I have to do them, you know.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, so much in common. All right. Let's wrap up with Toyin today. Toyin, take us home. What's up?
Hi, everyone. So for me, I'm not quite as organized as Nikio and Ego, who tend to plan way ahead. I tend to plan like a few days ahead. When I'm working, I don't work here, I have to go to work. So it kind of takes over. And then I find that I try and fit, when I have quiet times, I try and fit bits of Amazon in my quiet times at work, just to make the most of the time. And also when I'm going, because now I go on the bus. So when I'm walking to the bus stop and when I'm on the bus, I'm listening to one of the podcast audibles, or I'm reading a book on the bus to do with Amazon. So I try to make sure that however busy I am when I'm working, Amazon gets, you know, there is something happening to do with Amazon. Whereas when I first started Amazon, I used to really struggle to fit it in when I was working, but I've reorganized, and just, I guess with being intent, I've fitted that in. When I'm home on days off like today, Amazon takes priority, and then other things get fitted in, like, sorry to say, like my partner, my friends, family, they get fitted in around all that. And when I'm here, I tend to work in this space. And I realize that I like lots of light when I'm working, which is why I think I struggle at work sometimes, because I work in like it's a darkened edit suite. So there's not really much natural light. It's lots of effective lighting. So it makes it hard for me to sometimes concentrate. So I like lots of light. I like music, not necessarily concentrated music, but just the music. It just helps me to, I think I've been like that since school, which was years and years ago. But I find that I'm able to concentrate when I've got music or some kind of sound, nice sound around me. What else? And sometimes I like to change my workspace. Well, I don't have a big place where I live, but sometimes I think, oh, I'll just go and work in a different room. But I always end up back here because I think this is my sort of favorite spot where I get the most done. And in terms of the intensity, I kind of feel, I guess because Amazon is still new, so it does feel intense when I wake up. So the day before, I know what I'm going to do. And then when I wake up, do my miracle morning, I tend to go for a jog early, first thing. And then when I go for the jog, I decide how the day is going to go. And I tend to try and stick with one task till I'm done. And like you were talking about last week, if you've got something you can finish, why not focus on that and get it done? So now that's the way I sort of work, and it's working, doing that. And whereas before, I think I would do one bit and then move to another bit. And then at the end of the day, nothing was completed. Whereas now I focus and at least there's something done. Or if it's not done, at least it's nearly done. So I'm sort of, that's how I work now. It's changing a bit.
Very good. Thank you for sharing all that.
Okay.
That's Toyin, everybody. She's awesome. Hey, Glenn put his hand up. Glenn, you got something profound to leave us with today?
Well, I'm afraid I must begin with an apology, because you said we were wrapping up with Toyin, and here I go sticking up my paw. But
the last possible second.
So I apologize, although this is small potatoes compared to the crime which you, Mr. Lavinia, have so egregiously committed here in front of 37 witnesses. Jacques! John, this morning you have punched me in the face. And I am bruised and bloody and most eternally grateful for having been punched in the face. Here's what I mean. Looking around, I'm reminded on an almost daily basis, looking around my office, I'm reminded of those two things that you just said. We could get so much accomplished in our lives if we would begin by answering the two questions. Where's my stuff? And what do I do? Right? So I'm looking around here and I will not, because I am too mortified, show you any pictures to document the fact that my office currently looks like it has been hit by rioters. And so I know that I spend an inordinate amount of time wondering where's my stuff. And for me, in my ADD brain, where's my stuff is inextricably tied to what do I do? I have general ideas. As you well know, John, from our past conversations, I have many general ideas of things I intend to accomplish, some of which I have actually accomplished. And I have lists of other things which I intend to accomplish. And for many of them, the primary reason they haven't yet been accomplished is because I'm still figuring out where my stuff is. So what I'm going to do to wrap up for me today is I am going to, in the face of you, all my friends and teammates here, I am going to put myself on blast. So some of you all in America know what that means. I'm putting myself on blast. Here's what I mean. By this time tomorrow, our next general session call, my office will be orderly. I'm going to take whatever time, a couple of hours, get it done, get shit straight, pardon my French, get stuff where it's supposed to be, and figure out, at least in this confined space, I'm going to figure out where my stuff is. And based on that, I will have a much better idea by this time tomorrow of what to do. Okay, is everybody hearing me? I call you all to witnesses, and I will turn my computer camera around tomorrow, and I will show you the results of this pledge, which I am now taking. So, where's my stuff, and what do I do? Tomorrow morning, the where's my stuff question will be answered. You can take that to the bank.
Ego's demanding before and after pictures. So
Ego, that ain't none of your business.
Oh no, I think that's therapeutic. Yeah, I would do it.
Well, all right then.
That's a must. It's a must. It's a requirement.
We're about to get a demo. Show us.
Okay. Everybody see?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Am I kidding? Was I kidding?
No.
Like, seriously? So I will publish in the Facebook group. I will take a before picture. Thanks very much for that, Ego. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I will take a before picture, and then just before we come on the call tomorrow, I will take an after picture.
Fantastic.
Oh, geez. Now I've done it. Now I've put myself on blast. Thank you.
Right.
Back to you, John.
Very good. So we've got commitments being made, actions being taken. And I'm going to go get some food because I got business meetings all day. It's so good to see you guys. Let's get together again for Stewart's 7:30 p.m. Eastern e-commerce work group. And then, of course, I'll see you back here tonight with 9 p.m. with Chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich, the classic, perennial, quintessential Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon.